specials are the people that fought for independence and they created Nigeria. So that is why I'm part of Nigeria, and today I'm happy to be Nigeria.
What makes Nigeria special to me? Well, Nigeria is a great country. We have so many resources. We don't give up easily. We try our best to improve and do our things well.
That makes Nigeria special to me is our culture and our food, because I'm a chef. I'm very particular about food, the diversity in our food, the diversity in our culture. I feel like it makes it beautiful. It makes Nigeria special. What defines the Nigerian spirit? Their resilience, our ability to excel even in tough situations. They are good at what they do.
The diversity of despite the fact that we have different cultures, different religions, we are together, we are united. I'm from River State where I grew up. I actually came here to work, so I see how different people, the unity in diversity actually. So I see how different people communicate with others. I see how different tribes have to come together, working in the same space, and not having. It doesn't even look like if you're a different person. So there's a spirit, even when we're different, we speak different languages, but we can still bond together.
How strong is the Nigerian spirit in you?
The beauty of the tropical rainforests have always been appreciated by man, as they offer scintillating attraction, containing sources of food and generous sustenance for all living things. Well, today's panorama, we'll be looking at ways of preventing depletion of the tropical rainforest as the world marked the International Day of the Tropics. Also, we'll bring you stories on youth empowerment coming from across the states and more. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ruth Ekawena. The federal government has announced plans to evacuate 271 of its nationals from South Africa beginning today. A statement by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Kinebi Ebifan, said an air peace flight will depart Nigeria at 3 p.m. and is expected to arrive in South Africa by 9 p.m. local time. The return flight is scheduled to depart South Africa at 12 a.m. midnight and will arrive at Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, on Tuesday morning. The Nigerian Communications Commission is closing the gender gap in administration and corporate governance by launching a Women in Leadership program in Abuja. This initiative connects experienced female directors with younger professionals, creating a permanent network for career growth as the clamor for inclusion of more qualified women in leadership and corporate governance intensifies. Executive Vice Chairman, NCC, Aminu Maida, decries the low percentage of this demography in corporate fields and well-defined promotion paths for women to rise to the peak of their careers without hindrance. The program focuses on structured mentorship and practical assessment for eventual transition from every levels through intermediate to management.
It's just gathering to help share experiences with the younger ones and also to encourage them to aspire to reach the top level of their careers.
We have a lot of strong women making decisions in the telecommunications industry. There are also a lot of women who are leaders in the telecoms industry, in the private sector as well. So we want to harness that energy. We want to harness a lot of that wisdom and put it into the pipeline of the women who are working in the regulatory environment to ensure that we continue to build that and scale it up.
70% presence of women in management and directorate cadre in the leadership structure of the organization. The NCC is leveraging this to increase the demography of female gender in tech and active participation in Nigeria's digital economy. Security experts and stakeholders at the 2026 Silent Heroes Initiative have enjoined Nigerians to actively support security agencies through provision of credible intelligence reports and community collaboration to combat security challenges across the country. Collective action, they say, remains essential in tackling the country's security issues, urging citizens and communities to take ownership of the ongoing renewed fight against criminality.
Being recognized on a day like this, it only spurs us to do more to ensure that we reduce level of vulnerability in our environment to ensure that we support anything that has to do with provision of security. Civilians should support uniform men by providing credible intelligence. Then uniform men too should work with selflessness. They should work with sense of involvement. The society belongs to all of us.
People should continue to recognize people in security. They should continue to support our security system. They should continue to support our soldiers in the front line. A lot are happening every day. A lot of people, officers are killed, and they are dying for us. They are not dying for themselves. They are dying for us. So Nigerians need to support them.
The frequency and severity of violations against women and children in recent times have attracted the attention of female lawyers in Nigeria. They say it reflects a troubling pattern that demands urgent action to curb. Speaking against the backdrop of recent statistics to that effect, they want the government, community, and religious leaders to provide stronger mechanisms to sexual and gender violence on the vulnerable.
Area are limited. We can package the survivors, we can help the victims, for instance, and ensure that we watch and process and see that they do the needful, but we do not always prosecute these cases. For women across Nigeria, representation means more than occupying seats. It means having influence. It means helping to shape laws, institutions, and policies that affect families. Even in terms of voice in different areas, women's representation has been a challenge.
Communities affected by insecurity, the female lawyers urge them to support security agencies with actionable intelligence to aid their work of dealing with the criminals. So today is International Day of the Tropics, celebrated every June 29 to highlight the unique challenges and opportunities faced by tropical regions worldwide. The tropical regions of the world is said to be home to over 40% of the world's population and more than 80% of its biodiversity, supporting livelihoods of plants, animals, and mankind. The day emphasizes the critical role the tropics play in promoting environmental sustainability and for all living beings, particularly man, to take care and sustainably use the tropical environment. All right, we have a guest joining us, but we'll take a break. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Sahara, we rise, allow be free, we know they tire. We great, our spirits undying. Resilient, rooted like mountain, we swear in color, we turn down, we keep back, we make solutions, we make passion, yeah. Education, we have a solution, we are Nigeria. I am the real Nigerian, brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
All right, thank you for staying with us. We told you today is International Day of Tropics, and we have a guest joining us via Zoom from Lagos to speak on how we can ensure the sustainable use of tropical resources. Mr. Desmond Majakudumi, entomologist and founder of the Lekki Urban Forest and Animal Shelter Initiative. Thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Very well. Let's look at the importance of this day, especially in promoting environmental sustainability. How can people work together to keep these tropics safe for mankind?
Yes, we really, first of all, need to have a deeper understanding of the utmost importance of the tropics. This is where you have by far the highest biodiversity of life forms in the planet. And in Africa, we have a tremendous amount of what they call the mangrove forest.
Mr. Majakodumi, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost that signal. If we'll reconnect with him because this is a very important issue to talk about. But in the meantime, let's pick up with all the issues. In a deliberate step to boost crop yields and strengthen food security, the federal government is kickstarting the distribution of more than 80,000 bags of fully subsidized fertilizers to smallholder farmers in the South-South zone. Flagging off the National Agricultural Development Fund intervention in Calabar, Cross River State, the governor pledges to ensure the inputs reach verified beneficiaries. Justina Etienne reports.
The intervention, which is part of the Renewed Hope agenda in agriculture, is aimed at closing Nigeria's agricultural productivity gap, targeting 20,160 farmers in Cross River, Akwa Ibom, Delta, and Edo states. Governor Basio too, represented by the Speaker of the Cross River States House of Assembly, Elbert Ayambem, lauds the initiative, which aligns with his administration's People First agenda.
This administration will continue to invest in agriculture as a practical path to economic transformation. We are expanding opportunities across strategic value chains, including maize, rice, and sorghum, while also promoting mechanization through the procurement of additional mini tractors for farmers.
The Chief Executive Officer of National Agricultural Development Fund, represented by the Head of Investments, Olalekan Alabi, says the Farm Input Support Program is designed to enhance yields, improve markets, and impact the livelihoods of the people.
They will also have an effective monitoring and evaluation framework that we have also put in place to endeavor that we do not have ghost farmers, that the actual beneficiaries are actually the smallholder farmers.
The initiative is being rolled out nationwide in Calabar, Justina Etam, NTA.
The National Directorate of Employment has issued certificates to 38 graduates, trainees under the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative, and that's in Imo State. Obianuju also reports.
Further, graduate trainees of skills acquisition under the Renewed Hope Employment Initiative ready to be settled with starter packs. The training that took off September 9, 2025 in Imo State is part of measures by the federal government to reduce unemployment as well as promote entrepreneurship through skills acquisition and resettlement program. The program, which comes in batches, has 38 participants who successfully graduated from different fields of training and are expected to give back to the society. Some beneficiaries who express gratitude to federal government are sure they will train others and also be employers of labor in their various fields.
I can also train, start from somewhere, train some little children who have interest in baking.
I have the equipment to work, so I can employ others.
The Acting Director General, National Directorate of Employment, Edmund Owen, and the representative of the Imo State Governor advised the beneficiaries to put to good use the resettlement items.
Multiplier effect of what we have extended to them is of immense importance to us. Why the federal government is going the extra mile to ensure that they are supported to become entrepreneurs.
So the governor advised them to make sure that they encourage others who are coming behind them.
The event featured handing over of the resettlement items as well as issuing of certificates to the beneficiaries.
All right. We told you earlier we have from Lagos. Mr. Majakodumi, we're joining you now via phone call. So please pick up with your thoughts you were sharing with us on how we can keep this environment sustainable for the use of mankind. Talking about the tropics.
We are so blessed in this territory, this tropical territory. And we, Nigeria, being the giant of Africa, is obviously far more blessed than other countries. We have a tremendous amount of this tropical mangrove. And the tropical mangrove is so important. It has so much rich biodiversity, so many different types of species of animals and plants. And some of them, a lot of them, we haven't even discovered properly yet. Medicinal plants are in there. Very nutritious animals are in there. Oh yes, but that's just one of the roles. Another extremely important role is what it does with the oh my gosh, I tell you, what it does with the water systems. What it does with the water system. The mangrove forest, tropical forest, it absorbs a lot of the rainwater. So there's far less flooding once you have a healthy growth. And apart from that, it gives a lot of oxygen, which I think we all know that we all need very, very much. But unfortunately, maybe because we don't understand the importance of it, traditionally there's a slang word for the tropical mangrove. We call it poto poto. And that doesn't sound like a very important thing, but it's so important. So we need to understand the importance, we need to understand the blessing that we have been endowed with in Nigeria as the giant of Africa and protect our mangroves. Luckily, Lagos State is trying to do as much of that as possible. There's a lot of pressure because people are looking for land to develop. But it's not development if you're destroying nature's way.
Okay.
Supporting your life support system.
So, Mr. Majakodumi, you just picked up what I was going to, raise, especially in the aspect of the severe threats we're seeing going by habitat loss, climate change, and rapid urbanization, which you were just mentioning. How can those concerned ensure that these tropics are conserved?
Very, very key. Very, very, very important. Well, as I said, we're seeing some very good responses from the Lagos state government, and they're coordinating amongst themselves. So it's not really just one ministry. It's not just the Ministry of Environment and Water Sources. It's also the Water and Coastal Ministries, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health. They have this system whereby the ministries themselves are coming together and ensuring that they speak with one voice and they do one thing. But we need to do a lot more. We really, really, really do, because these mangroves are being terribly decimated, they're being terribly destroyed, and they're so extremely important. So I think we should give kudos to Lagos State, and maybe other states along our coast that have these mangroves could learn something from Lagos. And the reality is that, the leadership are here to serve the people. And this is what we're seeing, but we want to see a lot more of that. We need to, because the also bigger reality, the law of the universe, is that action begets reaction. You reap what you sow.
Exactly.
So we expect,
Yes.
responsible action, sowing the right thing to the lives of the people.
And talking about reaping what we sow, man's role, because these tropics provide livelihoods for plants, animals, and even mankind. The role of man, our daily attitude, to these tropics.
Yes, very important that you brought this up. You see, and this is something that we've been neglecting, not just here in Nigeria. This is a global issue that we seem to have neglected. The role that has been designated to human beings. And it's written in our scriptures very, very clear. There's no ambiguity that we're stewards of creation in the Bible. We're caliphs in the Holy Quran. It's there. But we're neglecting this, and as a result, were causing major problems. Do you know that as we're talking now, the hottest weather that Germany and other parts of Europe have ever experienced is ongoing. And that's adding to the fact that this is the 11th hottest year the world has ever known. In America, they're having similar kind of breakdowns. You know, the climate is reacting. Nature is giving us back what we've been giving to her, which is massive pollution, total disregard of our role as human beings to be steward, responsible keepers of nature, responsible keepers of the creation, and really genuinely loving our neighbor, expressing peace unto ourselves. Of course, we have to care for our life support system, which is what the tropical forest is. It's one of the most crucial parts of the wonderful, miraculous life support system of this incredible Earth, our only home and planet.
And if you would like to speak to the detriment of, desecrating these tropics, talking about the health implication.
It is so terrible because we're already having more disease outbreak. Yes, one of the reasons why we're having so much of this Ebola, luckily it hasn't hit Nigeria because of very proactive systems that the health ministries have been able to put in place. But one of the reasons you're having these type of outbreaks is because we're destroying too much of the natural habitat of the creatures that are there. We need to restore those places and just leave them for what they are, which is very essential parts of the life support system. We need to protect the forest. We need to protect those places from any infringement at all. There's no way that you can justify coming and destroying part of your life support system. It's like, trying to justify selling your part of your mother's lump while she's alive, but selling it for some. No. We need to wake up to that reality that we as human beings are here to care for creation, to look after nature. Otherwise, disease outbreak, flood outbreak, food scarcity, you name it, all kinds of problems will just come and amplify themselves on us. And we don't need that. We don't need that. Nigeria should be leading the way in West Africa and Africa and eventually the world. And the world will know that they need Africa more than Africa needs the world.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Desmond. Thank you very much for your thoughts. Thank you.
My pleasure.
MDN Network Media.